Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, my student. Okay, Mr. Mu'taz Said with you. Today we'll talk about chapter 2, transport in living organism. Okay. Lesson 1 will explain transport in plants. As we know that the green plants requires a supply of carbon dioxide, H2O, and the mineral salt to make photosynthesis process. Okay, by absorbing the energy of sunlight, okay, and making food which is stored inside the leaf, okay, in form of starch. In primitive plants such as algae, these raw materials together with product of photosynthesis move from one cell to another by diffusion and active transport. Okay, diffusion means transform of molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration, but this random, okay. And the active transport, it means move molecule from lower concentration to higher, but need energy in form of ATP. So they are in no need for specialized transport tissue. In higher plants, gases are transported by diffusion, while water, salts, soluble product of photosynthesis are transported by means of specialized vascular tissue. Okay. First, transport in higher plants. How can water and the mineral salt transfer inside the higher plants? Are absorbed by the root hairs and translocated across the root tissue until they reach the xylem vessels of the root. They are carried through the xylem of the stem to that of the leaf. Leaves carry out photosynthesis and produce high energy carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Okay. High energy carbohydrate, fats, and protein are transferred from centers of their manufacture to sites of storage and consumption in various tissue, like root, stem, fruits, seeds. They pass through the sieve tube in the volume of the leaf and stem and the root. If you want to examine the transfer section in the stem of Dicot plants, okay, you can see here it's a diagram of Dicot stem. Okay, we can see that it consists of the outer layer, it's called the epidermis. The outer layer, it's called the epidermis. After that, there is cortex, okay, and you can see the outer layer epidermis is covered with cutin. Cutin, it's a impermeable material which doesn't allow substance to pass. The cortex formed from parenchyma cells. Parenchyma cells has spaces to make aerations. Also, it may be contain chloroplasts, so it can make photosynthesis process. After that, we have a layer of star sheath. Star sheath, it's two starch. After that, we have a vascular cylinder or vascular bundle, which consists of volume, the outer layer. After that, cambium, and the xylem, which may be secondary xylem and primary xylem. We have also the medullary rays, and the internal layer is pith. Again, the epidermis. It's one row of adjacent and parallel-shaped parenchyma cells. As we say, it's thickened with QT. Okay, you can see it's thickened with QT. The cortex consists of several rows of cholancyma cells. Okay, this is called cholancyma cells. Cholancyma cells. After that, parenchyma cells. Cholancyma cells are thickened with cellulose, so it may be have support the stem. So they have supporting function. These cells may contain chloroplasts, so maybe take part in photosynthesis. Also, these cells followed internally with several rows of parenchyma cells. Parenchyma cells has intercellular spaces to make, as we say, aeration. Okay. And the innermost layer it's of cortex is known as starchy. It's to starch act as source of food. Vascular bundle. If we want to see the vascular bundle from the diagram, it consists of the folium and the xylem, and there is cambium between them, separating between the folium and the xylem. What's the folium? Folium is the outer tissue in vascular bundle. I think you have studied before in senior 1 the function of folium. Folium translocate sugar from the leaf to down to stem and root. Okay, it's the outer tissue in the vascular bundle. It consists of sieve tube, companion cell, and parenchyma. Its function transport, as I say, transport sugar from up the leaf to down stem and root. Also cambium. It's one row of more meristemic cells. One row or more of meristematic cells. You can see here in cambium. One row or more of meristematic cells. Meristematic cells, that's between the xylem and cambium divide. What's the function of cambium? Cambium cells divide, giving secondary folium outward, secondary xylem inward. Okay, it divides to form secondary xylem, secondary folium outward, secondary xylem inward. Again, the function of cambium, it divides, giving secondary folium outward, secondary xylem inward. What's a xylem? Xylem, it is the inner tissue. Also, you have studied xylem senior 1. What's the function of xylem? Transport water and salts from the roots down to up stem and leaf. Okay, it's a function transport water, dissolved salts. It supports the stem as well. Xylem tissue contains the following transport element. There is a structure, it's a photo, a diagram for, you can see here diagram for the folium. You can see it consists of sieve tube. Okay, the sieve tube is transferred by sieve plate, and it has cytoplasmic strand. And by the movement of cytoplasmic strand, okay, which is translocate sugar from up to down, okay. Also, it's neighboring by companion cell. The companion cell, it's a function to provide the sieve tube with energy, with ATP, because the companion cell contain all the cell organelle component, like cytoplasm, like in nucleus, okay. Also has endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi body, so it provides is with the needed energy. Okay. These types of xylem, we can see here xylem vessels and the xylem trachees. Vessels, it's pitted, it had bits to allow water and salt to pass. Also, it beats a trachea. What's the difference between a vessel and trachea? As you can see, a trachea have more beats. Also, it's pointed from its end up and down. It's pointed. Okay. How mechanism of transport from the root to leaf? Okay. What's the mechanism of xylem? Factors responsible for ascent of sap. As we say that the xylem is responsible for translocation water mineral salt from root to leaf. There are several theories which put forward to explain the ascent of this sap in the plant. Okay. Number 1, root pressure theory. Root pressure theory. We have exudation. Number 1. Exudation. What's the meaning by exudation? It means is that if you cut the plant near to the soil, if you cut a part of the stem which is near to the soil, there is water. Okay, there is water will give out from the stem. Okay, give reason. This process is called exudation. Exudation. Okay, it means there is a root pressure inside the stem which allow a little water to give out, but it's not the water will not give out for a higher distance. It's only short distance from the stem. Okay. Disadvantage of root pressure theory. Number one, experiment proves that there is no responsible explanation for ascent of water to high level in tall trees by root pressure. As I say, it's just only for short stem. Maximum root pressure doesn't exceed 2 atmosphere. Alpinus and other conifers has no root pressure. Number four, the force of root pressure is affected by external factor like humidity, okay, and the wind. Number two, imbibition theory. Imbibition theory. Imbibition theory, as we have talked before, imbibition in lesson number one, it means some colloidal substance can imbibe water like cellulose and the pectin. Okay, but there is also disadvantage of imbibition. This phenomena has very limited effect in sap ascent because experiments have proved that water ascends through the cavities of xylem vessels, not along their wall. Again, the water ascends through the cavities of xylem vessels, not along their wall. The importance of this phenomena restricted to transport water along the cell wall until it reaches the wall of vessels and tracheids in the root. Also, from this vessel and the trachea to neighboring cells in the leaf. Number three, capillarity theory. Water is through teeny tubes by capillarity. It means the moving of water through teeny tubes. Xylem vessels are considered as capillarity tube with diameter of 0.02 millimeter up to 0.5 millimeter. So water will rise in these vessels by phenomena of capillarity. But also, how can water go up? Okay, so there is a disadvantage of capillarity theory. Capillarity theory has weak secondary effect in the sap ascent because the finest capillary tube doesn't allow the rise of water more than height of 150 centimeter. Number four, theory of transpiration, pool, cohesion, and adhesion theory. This theory was put forward by Dicot and Joly in 1895. Okay, it states that water column ascends through xylem vessel depending on three principal forces that pull water upward to very high level. Okay, that may be reached to 100 meter long trees. These three principal forces: number one, cohesive force. Cohesive force it results from the strong mutual attraction between water molecules. As we know that water molecules stick to each other in chemistry by hydrogen bond. Okay, there is attraction force between water molecules. This is called cohesive force inside xylem vessels and tracheids. This explains the existence of continuous column of water. After that, adhesive force that exists between water molecule and the wall of xylem. It helps the water to be held against gravity. Cohesive between water molecules, again, adhesive between water molecules and the xylem wall. Transpiration pool. Transpiration pool. It attracts the water column upward. Due to what? Due to continuous transpiration of the leaves. Transpiration means what? That the plant get rid of excess water, okay, during the night day, okay, due to high temperature, okay. So this allow water column to be held outward. So now water has high pooling force inside tube under the following conditions: the tube must be capillary. The walls of the tube must possess an adhesive force to attract water Also, the tube must be free of any gases or air bubbles. Why? To avoid any breaking and descending of water column. All these conditions exist in the xylem vessels. Give reason. Some seedling, when transplanted from a nursery to an open air, fail to grow if they remain exposed to the sun for longer time. Okay, before they are transplanted in the new soil. طبعا the answer because the entry of gases or formation of air bubbles inside, there is gases, okay, or air bubbles inside the xylem vessels and the tracheids, which causes the break of water column inside this tube. So it's prevent the arrival of sap and finally the seedling wilt and die. What's the path of sap during its ascent from root to leaves? Transpiration lessens, okay. Transpiration lessens water concentration in the air chamber above the stoma in the leaf. Also, evaporation increase from the cells of the mesophyll surrounding the stomata chambers, and the water contents, okay, you can see here, it is a path of sap ascent from the root. A diagram which help you to show how can water, okay, ascend through the xylem vessels. Number one, root hair absorb water. Water flow through the root. After that, it will pass through xylem of root, then xylem of stem. So it will go on transpiration current, okay, and will go after that to the spongy tissue, okay, of mesophyll, okay, or the leaf, and the water get out. This is a transpiration process. When transpiration take place, okay, so it allow water to come also from the root, okay, to come inside the xylem of the leaf, okay. Again, transpiration lessens the water concentration in the air chambers above the stoma in the leaf. Evaporation increases from the cell of mesophyll. The water content of this cell decreases and the concentration of solute inside them increase. A diffusion pressure gradient for water is created, pulling force that attract water from surrounding cells and will continue as far as the xylem element in the vanuoles and the veins, then finally from the midrib of the leaf. Water ascend under great force through xylem vessels and the tracheids of both the stem and the root as they are connected to one another. Transport of manufactured food by the volume from the leaf to the stem and root. As we say that the function of volume translocate food sugar from up to down, okay, consists of high energy organic substance reduced by the leaf during photosynthesis in all directions upward in order to feed buds, flowers and fruits, and downward in order to feed the stem and root stem. The role of sieve tube in transport. The phloem tissue consists of what? Again, sieve tube. We have said that sieve tube appears in longitudinal section as elongated cells. Okay, elongated cells. They contain cytoplasmic streaming without nucleus, so they are separated from each other by sieve plate, which are perforated by tiny pores. So cytoplasmic strand can extend from one tube to another tube. Also, we have said that the neighboring companion cells, each sieve tube has nucleated companion cell which provide the sieve tube with energy. Okay, after that, the phloem parenchyma. Parenchyma cells join sieve tube and the companion cell together. Experiments have proved that the role of sieve tube is transport ready-made food substance to various parts of the plant. Okay. The theory was made by Rabidin and Bohr experiment. They supply green bee leaf with a carbon dioxide gas but containing radioactive carbon C14 in order to carry out photosynthesis and to provide or produce carbohydrates. After that, the carbohydrates being radioactive could be traced, could be traced during their path in the plant. It was discovered that they are translocated upward as well as downward in the stem. We have also a Mittler experiment. Mittler experiment. He managed using the avid insect. You can see here avid insect to describe the content of sieve tube in order to identify these content. Avid insect penetrate the tissue of the plant, okay, mouth of the insect, okay. Plant until it reaches the sieve tube using the piercing mouth parts during the process of feeding. The scientists separated the whole body of the insects after that, okay, from its mouth parts. In this way, he managed to collect sample of sieve tube content. It may be the avid insect feed on the sieve tube, okay, feed on the sieve tube. He managed to collect sample of sieve tube content. By analyzing this sample, it was shown that to consist of same organic substance manufactured in the leaf, it means consists of sucrose and amino acid. To make sure that this was the phylum content, he sectioned the region of the plant where the proboscis of the insect was inserted. It appeared to be inserted in the sieve tube. The last theory is the Thyan and Dicot experiment, transport of organic substance in the volume. Thyan and Dicot could see long cytoplasmic threads which contain organic substance inside the sieve tube, and these threads extend through tiny pores from one tube to another. They explain the transportation of the organic substance in the volume on the basis of cytoplasmic streaming. The cytoplasmic circular movement inside these tubes and the companion cell during the organic substance translocate from one end of the sieve tube to other end, and then they pass to the other neighboring sieve tube through cytoplasmic threads. They explain that this activity, cytoplasmic streaming, needs ATP, which exists in companion cell and provided, okay, by experiment, which shows that transportation process delay with the decrease of temperature. Again, transportation process delay with decrease in temperature. Why? Why decrease in temperature? Because there will be less transpiration. Okay, less transpiration. Also, Exudation, because this active transport, okay, the active transport which needed energy ATP needs oxygen, okay, and also need high temperature. Okay, at the end of this lesson, thank you my student. Okay, wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.